Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. What an incredible redemption arc, honestly. We have been sitting here for years just waiting for the moment for at least some of these figures on the left, some of these supposed thought leaders and media figures, to start pushing back against the leftist insanity, patiently waiting for someone and hopefully someone prominent to start pushing back. At first it was Bill Maher, well, you could argue Joe Rogan and Elon Musk as well. There's been many figures, and now probably the most shocking individual who is really just taking on the woke crap from the inside, the TYT's Anna Kasparian, is beyond done with the woke lefties. I never thought I'd see the day, and trust me when I tell you that she isn't holding back in the slightest. You guys are gonna get a kick out of this one. But before we get into any of the leftist Twitter infighting, this video is actually brought to you guys by a sponsor, so let's play that clip. Today's video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Friends, it's 2023. Using the internet without a VPN is like stepping out of the shower with the window wide open for the world to see. Privacy, privacy, privacy. One of the easiest ways for big tech companies to collect your information is through your device's unique IP address. With that identifier, they can match activity to you personally. But with ExpressVPN, one tap and your IP address gets masked, preventing them from being able to easily track you online. And so you gotta be equipped with the right tools to protect you. And that's where a VPN comes in play, and I've been using ExpressVPN, as you guys know, for years. They've been a sponsor of this channel since back in 2021. It's not only a product that I recommend, it's a product that I actually use each and every single day, not only for privacy purposes, but for bypassing content geo restrictions. We all know governments love to put their grimy hands in everything, controlling what people can and can't see, and they do the same thing with content online. Well, very simple. If content you're trying to access is only available in the UK, then just switch your location to the UK and boom, you now have access. In the digital age, a VPN is a must, and ExpressVPN just happens to be the best product out there. And of course, the cherry on top for all Liberal Hive Mind viewers, by simply clicking the link down below in the description and in the pinned comment, you can find out how to get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free by simply clicking the link. Support the companies that support the work that we do here. And now back to the video. Alright folks, it all started with a segment that Anna Kasparian did, titled Revisiting Portugal, where she reacted to a JD Vance clip.
If you look at some of the strategies that have been tried in Portugal, some of them have been tried in certain municipalities in the United States, and what you end up seeing is drug overdose numbers go up, addiction numbers go up. So I think if the Portugal approach could work here, it would have frankly already worked.
That was Republican Senator JD Vance from Ohio, making the case that while drug decriminalization worked in Portugal, similar models have not worked out so well in the United States. Now look, considering the pretty brutal spikes in overdoses and deaths in America each year, I was ready to at least hear him out. But he actually might be getting something wrong. In fact, we might all be getting something wrong. Okay, let's watch more and I'll explain what I mean.
Then as she researched the point further, she came to the conclusion that maybe decriminalization of drugs has backfired in Portugal and it isn't working.
But I do think that we should follow the evidence wherever it ultimately leads here. Legalization is not gonna help, but maybe doing medically assisted treatment more and making that more accessible, that's a good solution.
Look at JD Vance mentioning Suboxone and medical treatments to help people who are suffering with addictions. It's incredible. I mean, can we just address his tone and how much Vance has moderated his messaging since running in the GOP primary for his Senate seat in Ohio? He even seems open to doing more than just, locking people up for drug abuse. And he seems willing to admit that the model worked in Portugal. But as I was researching this story, I was actually shocked to find that tides are turning in Portugal. And their much lauded drug reforms are beginning to show cracks and weaknesses.
And what Anna Kasparian did here was a cardinal sin in the world of woke. You never go after a narrative talking point. Democrats across all of the United States all have these same talking points. Communism didn't actually fail, and especially didn't fail in South America. It's US imperialism that caused South American communism to fail. We should model the country off of Nordic socialist nations. Socialism works. Nordic nations are highly capitalist. Their borders are closed. Norway, for example, a country that they tend to point to quite often, drills for oil and natural gas, produces the F out of it, exports it and then takes care of their population. In other words, it's major capitalism and so much extra cash going around that they can take care of their people and not the world's hungry poor masses. Not to mention it's essentially an ethno-state. They love going on and on about Canada's amazing healthcare system, which completely imploded at the slightest sign of crisis. Guns should be confiscated, look at Australia, and then the last one, of course, legalize all drugs, look at Portugal. They all present the same NPC talking points. Most of them have already been refuted, or simply don't exactly translate to the American system, different countries, different dynamic, but the one thing you never do as a leftoid is debunk one of their holy narratives. No, 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 no. Never do that. Anna Kasparian crossed a line, and the leftoids came out for blood. Guess who led the charge? Lance from the Surfs TV. By the way, I guess my last video on his little interaction with Tim Pool might have rubbed him the wrong way, because it turns out that he blocked me on Twitter, even though I've literally never had any interaction with him on the platform. Oh, you poor little snowflake. But little snowflake Lance was really frustrated over this fact-based segment. You know, an actual decent, well-researched segment from Anna Kasparian. He writes, "Gotta be liberating not to have to pretend anymore," showing a screen cap or a cell phone image of Anna Kasparian's segment. Typical leftist nonsense. He doesn't address anything that she actually said. It's just, she's not in the cult anymore. She's no longer our friend because she isn't abiding by the talking points. In other words, a typical leftist tantrum. And if you thought that Anna Kasparian was just gonna simply let that go and move on, you have another thing coming. She seems to be a totally new person. She went absolutely ballistic on all the dishonest, deluded, out of their mind far leftoids. And it was glorious to watch. She started off by addressing the Surfs TV. Listen, I get that a dishonest and untalented clown like Lance needs to distract from his embarrassing debate with Tim Pool, so he's going to post a screenshot of a story that I covered and mischaracterize what I said. Here's the full video. Lance from the Surfs TV then foolishly responded. He didn't get the memo the first time that he probably shouldn't be involving himself in these types of matters because he simply isn't cognitively qualified enough to be able to avoid taking massive L after massive L publicly. He responds, "What does me making a post about you have to do with me debating Tim Pool 2 months ago? I don't understand how they're connected. Are you taking credit for coaching him or something?" Literally don't understand the point that this guy's trying to make. Anna then writes, "I felt like cooking tonight, Lance. You hungry?" She then tweets this video.
No. Hold on. Colorado legalized abortion in up to 9 months with no medical reason required. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that decision.
And writes, "We're not winning with this kind of foolishness." Someone posted, "You and Lance had the same take on abortion though." She responds, "No, we don't. I do not agree with the notion that a woman should be able to terminate a healthy pregnancy at 9 months. Almost no one believes that, except for Lance." He then tweets a very selectively edited clip, I guess trying to debunk her. Here's some little portions of it.
"You know, I went through the torture of being pregnant for 9 months, and I've decided to end my healthy pregnancy, right before I'm going to deliver."
Right.
No one's in favor of that. Okay, no one. Literally no one. I guess except for Lance.
Pregnant, the baby is viable and capable of surviving on its own.
Sure.
And she says before it breaches oxygen, kill it. Do you think that should be allowed?
This is, again, the baby guillotines. This is why I brought that up.
But
what a weird scenario. This doesn't happen. This is not the real world.
So I don't know what Lance really thinks.
Yeah.
But the only time abortions happen in the 3rd trimester, first of all, they're always tragic. They're always awful. And it's because the woman's life is in danger.
Yeah.
Okay. It's never because the woman was lazy and decided that she wanted to do it last minute.
I don't think women on the 9th month get abortions with viable living children and then be like, I don't want it, kill it. I don't think that happens.
And she responds with, "Oh, here, let me help you include the part where you sign on to terminating healthy pregnancies at 9 months. You know, the part that you don't draw attention to." Absolutely freaking BTFO'd, but it didn't end there. Not only did she royally embarrass Lance from the Surfs, I mean, she went no holds barred against every socialist wannabe revolutionary in the comments. Here's one individual who writes, "Just admit that you've gone conservative 'cause it pays. We all understand." trend. It's cool. Yeah, being conservative really pays. Companies don't want anything to deal with you. You're at constant threat of being deplatformed. Oh, really pays. She then responds, these people are literally the dumbest people on the planet. No logic, no common sense, just endless chirping on the net because I don't want to be in a cult. And also this, what is it like to go through life with brain worms? Does your mom wipe your behind for you too? And so you can see just the general sentiment. She's clearly done, and I really think it's a beautiful moment. You know, it's a moment of inflection. We're starting to see a new path being paved away from the crazy. There seems to be a growing bipartisan consensus that woke leftism is in fact a woke mind virus. And hopefully some of these political conversations and points of disagreement start coming back to a point of common sense, where the adults can hopefully finally take control over the room again. The craziness has got to stop. You know, I think Anna Kasparian's segment on the whole Portugal issue and JD Vance's openness to programs to actually help and target specific people and communities who are suffering, I think those are probably the conversations that we should be having. You know, if the government's going to collect trillions of dollars in taxes, maybe let's use that money helping the most impoverished and the most vulnerable instead of sending billions to Ukraine. Let's just have common sense discussions again and focus on actually doing things that matter and implementing policies that are common sense and responsible instead of whatever these lefty loons are suggesting we do. Legalization and decriminalization of drugs, creating a total open-air drug market, on the streets mental health crisis, essentially legalizing crime, legalizing abortion all the way up to 9 months. That just ain't it, Chief. Democrats ought to tune in, ought to understand that that's where their party is headed, and without pushback, the party will essentially be there in a couple years tops. Once again, good on TYT's Anna Kasparian. I didn't think I'd be saying that in 2023, to be completely honest with you, but good on her. She's not playing games anymore, and you love to see it. I much prefer this kind of left than the craziness that we've kind of grown accustomed to. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.